In today's video, I want to talk about the notion that college is a waste of time. You'll see this across many social media platforms, and I think over the past 3 or so years, it seems like college has been identified as quote unquote a scam. Now, if you guys know anything about me, I actually started this YouTube channel back when I was in college. I pretty much grew my personal brand and my businesses all while I was in college. And I just want to offer a little bit of a different perspective on the whole idea of college and how for me personally, it actually wasn't a waste of time. Now, I first went to college in 2014, so it's been 10 years, which is absolutely crazy to say. But I went to a small school called Valdosta State University, South Georgia, little D2 school. You know, my whole life I'm used to going to small schools. My graduating class was only 100 people in high school. So moving up to this school really wasn't that big of a shift. But even though it was small, it still opened up a lot of doors for me. And we're going to get into why. So the first reason is that for me personally, college really helped me discover my purpose. I started my fitness journey because I was in the ROTC program. You know, I made vlogs on this. I talked about this plenty of times before, but my original path and origin and career goal was to simply be in the Air Force as a lieutenant. My dad was an Apache helicopter pilot in the Army. My uncle went to West Point. And so I come from a family of officers, though they're Army, but I saw myself being in the Air Force. And the main reason why was because I knew when I graduated, I would have a guaranteed job making $42,000 a year, which at the time, back in 2014, that was kind of a big number. And then also, I didn't want to have the unpredictability of graduating with a degree and kind of in limbo, looking for jobs, having internships, or moving back with your parents. I think we see this a lot with college graduates. But with the Air Force, you know, that's something that was pretty much guaranteed for me as long as I maxed out everything in terms of my grades, my fitness, my leadership skills, because ROTC is a competitive process. Now, like I said, going back to my purpose with the ROTC, you had to pretty much perform well on the fitness tests. I literally remember my first day going to PT. You know, the push-ups, the running, all that stuff was so difficult for me. And at that time, I was already kind of in the gym here and there, maybe like once every few weeks or so. You know, I wasn't necessarily huge, but by my standard, I was definitely fit. And ROTC actually made me realize how unfit I actually am. So through that, you know, I searched on Google how to get better at push-ups. Then from there, a calisthenics transformation video popped up. I think it was by Chris at the time. If you guys remember Chris, he was associated with the Bar Brothers back in the day, and then he did Calisthenics Unity. I'm not even sure if he's making videos anymore, but I saw his video, and then that's when I was like, yeah, I gotta learn how to do all this cool stuff. Muscle ups, handstands, one arm pull-ups. Like literally in my whole entire life, I've never seen this content up until I saw that transformation video. You know, that's literally how the fitness side of content started within this channel. You know, in the past, 7, 8 years, I've pretty much been documenting, giving advice based on my own experiences in that field. And then by my 3rd year, I was still in ROTC, but that's when I was debating whether or not I wanted to still join the Air Force or actually take content creation full time. Now, I was at a crossroads at that point in time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Each side was kind of risky, you know, but at the end of the day, I decided to leave ROTC and go full time in content creation, which in hindsight was the best decision I could have ever made. Now, like I said, ROTC helped me discover my purpose, and without joining college, I probably would have a totally different career and life path. I'm not even lying to you, because back in 2014, 2015, the entrepreneurship space was a little bit different. You know, at that time, drop shipping was really popular. It wasn't necessarily a popular thing to go all in on entrepreneurship or personal branding. I just kind of fell into it. Not only that, but because of ROTC and college, it helped enhance my leadership and communication skills. So if you're in college, you probably took a public speaking class. I know I did. And basically what I had to do was each week prepare presentations and give sort of my informational take on different subjects. Not only that, but in ROTC, as I got higher in class, I had to start giving presentations to the younger cadets. And within a training process, you know, to really work on our leadership and speaking skills, they actually made us do impromptu presentations that we had to do in front of everybody. So imagine that, you know, you're walking in a class of 100 plus cadets in RTC. They point at you, Cadet Dunham, give a presentation on why technology has shifted over the past 5 years and what impact that had on society. And on the spot, you have to give impromptu presentation. Now, at first, this is definitely very scary, a lot of anxiety, but the more you do it, as with anything, the better you get at it. And I really think that also helped refine my speaking and presentation skills in terms of YouTube content. Not only that, but organizational and management skills and, hitting deadlines, writing papers, all this stuff, you definitely will experience within your 4 years at any sort of university. And so I do believe college has benefits that most people really don't realize. And that's because they're looking at from the external of the price to go and how most people end up being jobless or not really finding a career after they graduate. Now, I don't want to talk about only myself. I do want to give some insight and perspective on how to make college not a waste of time. If you guys are within that stage, or maybe you guys who have been through college, I know I got some older guys listening. You guys are already in your career, or maybe you're debating on whether or not you should go back to college. First off, you got to think about the tuition. I went to a cheap school. My tuition was, I think it was $3,000 or less per semester, which is relatively cheap in comparison to some of these really more expensive schools, right? Not only that, but if you're not in a STEM degree, so science, technology, engineering, or math, then more times than not, it could be a waste of time, but it's also really how you leverage your network and environment once you're in that space. Because another benefit is that college will allow you to meet people who might actually put you in position to have a job set up whenever you do get out of college. Now, if I were to have a son or daughter, I would make sure, like I said, the tuition is affordable. They're doing something that falls in line with a high-paying career or skill, because that's what college really is about. It's not only just partying or the BS that comes with the first few years, but it's really to gain a skill set in a career that provides value to society. And going back to my original path, I was going to do cyberspace operations or cybersecurity within the Air Force. And I strategically picked that job. That way, if I knew I wanted to, transfer to the civilian sector, that I also had a high paying job. Because if you guys don't know, cybersecurity, you can make 120, 150, even 200K plus in some fields, depending on what you're doing. So if you are in one of these degrees like psychology or social work, or something that you feel that's really not in line with something that could be a sustainable career, then yeah, college is going to be a waste of time for you. If you look back on your college experience, or you're in college right now, you're really not leveraging your network. You're not a part of groups or organizations. You're not doing a lot of internships. You're really not putting yourself out there. Then yes, college is going to be a waste of time. And also, if you're not in a STEM degree, but you go to a really expensive school, then yes, it's going to be a waste of time for you. And you're more often than not going to regret it. Now, I feel like you only should not go to college if without a doubt, you have an entrepreneurial skill or business that can really take off and you've seen some sort of proof of concept. Otherwise, the stats have showed that most people actually earn more with college degrees than those who not. Like the average person, right? The average person, they're going to make more getting a skill or going to college than the person who does not. Now, we can debate, college degrees are getting less and less useless because of, employers really not taking bachelor's degrees too seriously, or they require it as a sort of prerequisite. But at the same time, the pay that you're getting or the salary that you're getting for that college degree really isn't in line. But I believe that's more of a societal problem than just going to college itself. Guys, fun fact too, I didn't even know college was an option back when I was 18 years old. I had no idea that people could choose whether or not they had to go to college. And the reason is because I came from a really educated family. So my dad was a chemistry major. My mom was a business major. She works in corporate. My dad went to the Army, like I said. So there are many things you have to think about. But if I had to do it all over again, I still would have went to college. Now, I know for me, I talked about purpose and career and all this other stuff, but even from a relationship standpoint, college really opened my eyes to varying degrees of diversity, which allowed me to have better relationships and actually experience some of my first relationships that have really shaped my foundation, moving forward, especially when it comes to the, relationship content that I talk about. And a lot of this stuff is documented. You can go back and see, like the first girlfriend I had in college, we did a handstand video together. My relationship with Vicky back in 2017, 2018, all that stuff is documented. Of course, none of that stuff would have happened if I never would have went either. I have plenty of guys who joined my coaching program, the young guys who didn't go to college, and they find themselves almost living that remote adult life and not meeting anybody. And through that, they actually have problems and struggle with dating, which most people don't experience until they leave college, going to work, going to the gym, not really having a social life, not really having that many friends, but they're just experiencing that much, much younger. And if you want more insight on, my experience with college from a year by year level, I actually made a video called, how college changed my life. And I kind of went over what happened year by year. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to check that video out. But yeah, I don't think college is a waste of time if you don't make it a waste of time if you follow these things. And like I said, if I was to have a son or daughter, I would pretty much tell them the same exact thing. But per usual, I want to hear you guys take on it too. Let me know your college experience. Did you go? Did you not go? If you did went, do you regret it? And is there a reason why you decide not to go for those who didn't go? Let me know down below, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.